All right, well, good evening. Welcome to the 2020 of the city, a year of action. My name is Adam Eisen. I'm the mayor of Half Moon Bay. I want to start off by recognizing our other members. We have Vice Mayor Robert Brownstone, and then each of these other people have been mayor before, which is Council Member Harvey Rarbach, Council Member Debbie Ruddock, and Councilwoman Deborah Penrose. And I also really want to thank our esteemed City Manager Bob Nisbet. Thank you so much for all the work you've done throughout this year. We're very appreciative. And to staff as well, which is a very good, a great staff and a very good iteration of everything you've done to help make that be as high quality as it is. And it has been a year of adaptation indeed. So thank you all for everything that you've done. I'll start off with that. I think we know what a year of adaptation means. 2020 continues to be an unprecedented year for everyone, filled with change, disaster, social turmoil, and more. For Half Moon Bay to continue its operation and serve the public while adapting to all the unanticipated events of this year is a testament to the flexibility and capacity of both the city and our community. Early in 2020, the City Council began setting its annual priorities, starting the process of exploring where to focus the city's efforts in the coming year, and using those priorities to form preparation of the 2020-21 budget. 3 listening sessions were held to hear our community's input on city priorities, with over 100 members of the public participating. Then in early March of this year, the City Council held its priority setting workshop and identified 5 priority areas for fiscal year 2020-2021. They were 1, affordable housing, 2, emergency preparedness, 3, traffic, transportation, and demand management, 4, sustainability, and 5, economic development. When we held that priority setting workshop, we were aware of COVID-19 and that it likely would justify a state of emergency. But the discussion was held prior to the San Mateo County Health Officer's shelter-in-place orders. The very next week, most city facilities closed, while City Public Works, code enforcement, and building inspection staff continued to work throughout the community. Following COVID-19 protocols, of course. Office staff transitioned to working remotely, school campuses were closed, and activity, travel, and business functions limited to only the most essential needs. Shortly thereafter, our budget analysis showed an 18% revenue shortfall for the current fiscal year and a 25% shortfall anticipated for the fiscal year 2020-2021. As you can guess, that information forced the first of many necessary adaptations. The city made cuts to staffing, contract services, capital projects, and overall expenditures to balance the budget, and similar cuts were proposed for the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. While many other municipalities postponed addressing anticipated budget shortfalls, Half Moon Bay delivered its fiscal year 2020-21 budget on time, despite continued unexpected challenges with the pandemic, through extraordinary collaboration and effort during quarantine. Even though City Hall's doors were closed, we never stopped working. We didn't even slow down. With the cooperation of our community, contractors, architects, and residents, etc., all departments moved to wholly digital and virtual operations, from public meetings to building permits and inspections. To face the challenge forced upon us by COVID-19 challenges, which continue today, the city had to devise and implement many new processes, change the way we do business, and determine how to best assist in easing the vast set of consequences, economic and otherwise, resulting from the pandemic. I'd like to enumerate some of those efforts. We worked collaboratively and on our own to implement periodic beach closures, some more successful than others, to help reduce crowding and promote social distancing. And to that end, with respect to keeping the community safe, our staff worked every day, month after month, to educate and assist businesses and residents to ensure compliance with the frequently changing health orders. I love the current signs out there right now. People enjoy the different ways that we're being creative and making it fun. The city declared a state of local emergency in order to position the city to receive federal FEMA reimbursement from expenses in response to these emergencies. Our protocols had to be revised to provide for online meetings, like we're doing right now, and maintain the public's right to participate. In fact, participation in many of our forums increased. The number of people in need in our community expanded almost exponentially among residents and business owners and operators. We had already assumed responsibility for the Second Harvest monthly food distribution, and starting in March, almost 3,000 meals were provided to over 500 families on a weekly basis. The city gave grants to 6 nonprofit groups totaling $200,000 for COVID-19 related community recovery services. And we provided another $200,000 in emergency housing assistance grants. Those funds came from an already diminished budget, but they're another great example of the adaptation and flexibility in shifting priorities to focus on the core services that our community needs. The city also drafted one of the early commercial eviction protection ordinances, which provided up to 180 days of rent deferral for local commercial tenants. We provided a free over-the-counter sidewalk dining permit to allow outdoor dining, helping businesses to comply with county health's COVID restrictions. And it sounds like we might have more coming on that. And in collaboration with the county, we initiated weekly COVID-19 testing at multiple city sites, testing more than 250 people per week. In times of uncertainty, communication and outreach with our community is even more important than under normal circumstances. We implemented the daily COVID-19 updates and the weekly mayor's letter, increased use of social media, and posted emergency and urgent update alerts on our web pages. The city created the hashtag Wave of Strength campaign to show support for everyone involved in the COVID-19 response, engaged community members through our Views from Home Half Moon Bay photo project, and even celebrated an online version of 2020. Our recreation division put together a program of virtual activities to help make staying at home more fun and productive for everyone. And in coordination with the Half Moon Bay Beautification Committee and the Half Moon Bay Chamber of Commerce, we created and promoted the 4th of July virtual parade and home video project for viewing on the city's website during that holiday weekend. Hey, Cameron. Good. The pandemic isn't the only tragedy we experienced in 2020. The violent, indefensible death of George Floyd and others at the hands of law enforcement officers put a renewed spotlight on the issue of systemic racism and within law enforcement ranks throughout the county and country. Another unexpected shift in our focus took place. Across the country, anger and demands for justice took many forms. Locally, our community came together and we were all involved in rallies and protests. We made the city's positions clear. Black Lives Matter, period. And those are important, but actions speak louder. The City Council held a study session with Sheriff Bolanos and Captain Lopez as an opportunity for the community to ask questions and share experiences, offer comments and opinions, and hear from others regarding law enforcement and related social issues. A clear priority expressed by participants was the need for community outreach around law enforcement, with the goal of ensuring that the city and sheriff's department continue to engage people and listen to community concerns and expectations. Subsequently, the City Council appointed a public safety subcommittee charged with assessing current law enforcement affairs in Half Moon Bay, considering concerns and questions from the public, and making recommendations on the annual contracts with the Sheriff's Department. As part of that effort, city staff was tasked with developing a research study on coastside law enforcement topics, including history, budget, and other contracting cities and current law enforcement related social issues. As the process proceeded, the city adopted a resolution in support of nationwide Black Lives Matter movement, condemning racism, discrimination, and police violence, and committed to act and encourage community action towards eliminating racial disparities in both government and the community. The City Council also committed to installing a mural in the City Hall parking lot to express its support for the Black Lives Matter movement and the vision of a more just and equitable society. In September, the mural was completed in one day. The Public Safety Subcommittee continues to work with staff to research a variety of topics related to law enforcement and the city's contract with the sheriff. Staff continues to host focus groups, discussions on the relationships between law enforcement and the community, including a few with our youth in the next month. In early 2021, the city plans to convene larger discussions with the community informed by the work completed in 2020 and improve the community's relationship with law enforcement and address concerns on local and national topics. As we know, the year 2020 had more in store for us. The massive fires in San Mateo and Santa Cruz counties, as well as throughout the state, put a further strain on the community and local government, including Half Moon Bay. Once again, the city had to reassess its resources and priorities, adapt and recenter its focus on the most important of many shifting, equally urgent issues. Fortunately, the brunt of the fire impact spared Half Moon Bay, but still, the city was in a position to assist others in the coastside community. Among other activities, we're able to host fire evacuees at Smith Field, assist the school district and the county with the opening of the evacuation shelter here to serve victims of the CZU fires, and we signed an agreement with PG&E to use the Half Moon Bay Library as a community resource center during the darkest days of the fire-filled summer. In the middle of all that, the city, of course, has its obligation and responsibility to continue carrying out its core services and duties on behalf of the community and of Half Moon Bay. I'm very proud of my colleagues on the city council and staff and management of our city for finding the time, energy, and means to accomplish so much beyond dealing with the multiple disasters, crises, and emergencies during 2020. Let me just name a few of these achievements, which in any normal year would have been a significant set of accomplishments, taking a great deal of time and effort. In 2020, the year of adaptation, this work is extraordinary. The city was ahead of the curve in adopting a minimum wage ordinance, bringing the local minimum to $15 per hour as of January 1st, 2021, and thereafter increasing with the cost of living. We played a big role in promoting the 2020 census, and I'm happy to report Half Moon Bay finished with an 81% self-response rate, which is 4 points higher than the 2010 and over 2 points higher than for all San Mateo County. And I have to give a shout out to San Mateo County as a whole. It had a 78.6 response rate, which is the highest of any county in California. We implemented a new enterprise resource planning software system, which promotes greater efficiency and operational improvements, including better financial reporting, online capabilities, and improved integration between departments. More efficiency in the city operations saves money and helps us better serve the community. We implemented the Poplar Beach Access Project to replace the access stairs and handrail, improve parking, create a phased program for erosion mitigation and bluff restoration, create gateway elements, and initiate work on the necessary realignment of a section of coastal trail. We enacted a disposable foodware ordinance to eliminate foodware that is not reusable or compostable, reducing the unnecessary distribution of foodware accessories. The City Council adopted revision to our parks and beaches rules, which includes a plastic bottle ban and the prohibition of alcohol at beaches and in parks. The city has continued to apply and secure grant funding to turn priority city projects into reality. In 2020, we secured hundreds of thousands in county funding to build roads, sidewalks, and bike lanes throughout the city, making Half Moon Bay more accessible for all residents. Additionally, the city secured nearly $200,000 from the state of California to expand and enhance local parks. We are very pleased to have received a grant from Keep America Beautiful to install cigarette butt receptacles in the city. We also received 2 grants that will fully fund our forthcoming work on a mandatory update of our housing element. As I said, in any other year, that would have been a great set of accomplishments. In light of 2020, it's truly remarkable, but there's more. We broke ground on Highway 1 Safety Operational Improvements Program to reconstruct and improve the intersection of Highway 1, Main Street, Higgins Canyon Road. That work is going on today. And we just recently, Half Moon Bay voters passed Measure U, increasing the hotel tax paid by guests staying at hotels and other short-term overnight accommodations in the city. This measure was something that the city was exploring even before the pandemic. Then, when the pandemic reality of the situation became clear, passage of this measure became even more critical. Additional revenue generated by the measure will be used to support economic recovery and financial stability, to maintain city services, including law enforcement, disaster emergency preparedness, and support of local businesses and residents impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic recession. I'm also delighted to announce that in 2020, Half Moon Bay was the recipient of 2 Beacon Awards from the Institute of Local Government, the Platinum Level Spotlight Award for Community Greenhouse Gas Reductions, and the Gold Level Spotlight Award for Sustainability Best Practices. That may seem like a relatively small thing, but that's the kind of recognition that helps inspire us to continue to do our best, serve the community in innovative ways, adapt and refocus to reflect changing circumstances, and continue to make Half Moon Bay the best place to live, work, and visit. And now for this year's capstone accomplishment, City Council's unanimously approving the local coastal plan use update. It took 7 years to get to this point, and the most significant and transparent planning process we've ever had. Time well spent on considering that the majority of the plan on the books was drafted in early 1980s. And moreover, that this plan is poised to protect and support the community's land use values for at least the next 2 decades. This comprehensive land use plan update, now with the California Coastal Commission for certification, will keep our town, the Half Moon Bay that we so passionately love. The plan envisions carefully planned sustainable development and resilient infrastructure to sensitively vitalize downtown while safeguarding our small town character and vitality. Highlights of the land use plan include a strategic approach to residential development that will provide local workforce housing so that our essential service and agricultural workers can live near, work, participate in our community as our friends and neighbors. Support for farming to ensure long-term retention of Half Moon Bay's agricultural heritage, and new provisions that will protect many of our open spaces in perpetuity. For this, and especially on behalf of a generation to come, I am very proud of all of us. If 2020 has taught us anything, is that we must be flexible. We must be ready to shift gears at a moment's notice, and we must be able to quickly assess and adapt to yet another new normal, all in the best interests of the people in our community. That's a look at what accomplished in this most unusual, painful, stressful, but ultimately productive year of adaptation in the city of Half Moon Bay. Thank you. I now turn it over to Crystalline, who will provide the Chamber's year summary, followed by Carmen from the Half Moon Bay Library.
Thank you very much, Mayor Adam Eisen. It's been a real pleasure to work with you and the city and all of the different agencies this year to get through this year, which I think we should just name the year of doozies. And so I just want to send all the love and shout out possible to our community members and our business members, because adaptation has definitely been the name of the game. And we have really done a really great job. In my role as Chief Executive Officer of the Half Moon Bay Coastside Chamber of Commerce, I get to deal a lot with our other chambers around us, from Santa Cruz to Pacifica to over the hill. And our community has really stepped up, and we are in general faring quite a bit better than some of our other communities where they're not that close-knit family that our community is. And I just really want to applaud everybody for everything that they do for shopping local and helping our local businesses and helping with those food distributions, and our different organizations stepping up for helping with COVID testing. And it's just really a beautiful sight, and everybody's just done such a wonderful job. So with that, I will attempt to share my screen. See if I can do this. Yay. All right. So the chamber, especially when it came to COVID and the shelter in place, this was really what we're built for. It's why chambers exist, and we're here to help our businesses survive and thrive. So there was quite a few things that we did, definitely starting, the heavy lifting in March to really help our businesses through these terrible times. So our main focus was support. We wanted to make sure that we were here for our businesses to answer their questions, help them get through the different resources that were popping up, both for the pandemic and for the fires. And so there are many activities that we took on to make sure that we could help our businesses get through their day to day. So some of those major activities are that within the first couple of months, the two of us at the chamber sifted through well over 1,000 emails of different resources, regulations, rules, health orders, scams, to make sure that we could bring information to our business members that they could use. So how to fill out the forms for different financial aid, what would work best for them, what organizations were doing grants. We really searched high and low to make sure that we could have those resources for them, and then also alert them to any resources that were not so great. We also started what many have seen on our social media, which we lovingly call a business a day. And it has so far generated over 400 social media posts since March and garnering 40,000 views. And each post is dedicated to a different chamber business member, just really reminding people that they're here, they have services, and they need help, and to please shop local. And we've also used our social media to help promote businesses that were reopening in a safe way. So alerting the community to, let's say, restaurants that had started doing outdoor dining or whatever it was that they were doing to comply with our health services. We wanted to get that information out to the community as soon as possible. We also helped to provide knowledge to both our businesses and our community by really converting our website into a knowledge center for all of the different things that were out there. And we generated over 15,000 website page views for our business listings and supportive services for both COVID-19 and the fires. When the fires hit, we did morph our website into uh, resources for fire evacuees, and we were able to help out at the evacuation center, which I was really, really proud to be a part of. And many of our chamber member businesses ran all of those different um, evacuation resources. And so I would also like to give a huge loving shout out to Puente, Coast Hope, and Alas, who really helped with those, along with the city and the Red Cross and the county, of course. And then one of our biggest accomplishments when it came to providing resources was vetting those resources. So it's one thing to receive information and just push it out and hope that it's true and right and good. But we actually did take the time to read everything and make sure that what we were sending to our businesses was something that could help them and would serve them in the long run to help them survive these different situations. So we really took time and care to make sure that the information that we had was correct and proper for our community. The next thing that the chamber really has been focusing on this past year is our advocacy. So, one of the areas where we are of most benefit to our business community is keeping in communication with all of our local governments, from the city to the county to the different councils, and really making sure that when ordinances and legislations are being thought about and talked about and coming down the pipe, that everybody has a chance to weigh in on it and that we can bring a business minded point of view. So, some of those legislative actions from this past year, we helped the county with health regulations for safe reopening. So, constantly communicating with them about how our businesses could open and do it in a way that not only met the health orders, but also helped push the health orders in a business friendly and community safe way. We also signed on to multiple financial support legislative letters to advocate on behalf of our businesses that were having a hard time receiving funding, and really making sure that our state government and our national government knew where those holes and pitfalls were and to really try to clean them up. And then we were also a part of the commercial rent reprieve. So we surveyed both the commercial uh, peop- the businesses paying the commercial rents as well as the landlords providing the commercial rents, to make sure that any legislative that came down the pike was fair to both. We helped with the city's outdoor street dining, to really work on that plan and make sure that it was one that was safe and fun for everybody. I will say it unfortunately landed on fire weekend, so that was a little bit wah wah, but not but there was plenty of planning that went into that, and we are proud for how it came out. We also worked on affordable housing, receiving many reports on the land use plan and helping with farm worker housing, and to make sure that the chamber is helping businesses with their workers, making sure that their workers are taken care of when it comes to affordable housing, since that's one of our largest issues. We also worked with the city on the transient occupancy tax. This was one where we did end up a little bit on opposite sides of the fence, but luckily our relationship is wonderful and we were able to work it through and try to make the TOT tax increase something that the hotels could transition into over a period of time, which in the long run will be very helpful. We also worked with the city on the minimum wage, to try to find a common ground. There are luckily many of our local businesses, the minimum wage did not really affect them because they are already paying that. But then there are some larger businesses where that was a real hardship, and we were able to communicate that with our city and work on, again, a phased in approach. And then the city also, or the chamber also worked on Proposition 15, and it's been reported that it did not go through, which is a bit of a win on the chamber's docket because that was going to be something that was fairly detrimental to our small businesses who would see issues with their rent. So we work very closely with the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors, Pescadero Municipal Advisory Council, the Half Moon Bay City Council, San Mateo County Harbor District, and the Mid-Coast Community Council. So we are at all of their meetings, and we really work hard on those relationships and making sure that the business community is heard on all of the upcoming things. And then when we're not advocating, we're trying to figure out how do we best help our businesses with different programs. So the one that I am currently most excited about is our Community Resource Center, which I am sitting in right now, and we're putting the fit and finish on it. And it is going to be a place where whether you're looking to start a business or you've reached a hurdle in your business and you need to find solutions, or if you're a community member looking for a business to help you with an issue, our hope is that you will feel like you can just come right into our door and we will be able to find the solutions that plague anybody in our community. We are also on the verge of publishing our next COSI 365 Business Services Directory, and we've rejiggered it so that we think it is going to be a really handy resource over the course of the next year to help connect our businesses to our local community as well as our visiting community. And we also, the Chamber helps run the Hotel Business Improvement District, which is the hotels. And so that's helping with visit halfmoonbay.org and making sure that when visitors come, they know all the different things that they can do and how to do it in an eco-friendly way. We're also heavily involved with the Coastside Emergency Action Program, lovingly called KEEP. And this past year, in the beginning of the year, I had actually worked diligently on having KEEP put together what we're calling a lattice work of how organizations work together when a disaster strikes. And some of that work was actually very instrumental when the fires hit, and I'm very proud of that. We have business support roundtables, a government affairs committee, an education committee, which has been very interesting during these times with everything that the school has to go through with COVID. And we did some candidate forums so that our community knew what our candidates stood for before they voted. And then we have a few different events that we modified to make sure that they were safe under our new COVID conditions. So Farm Fish and Flowers, we did that tour. We're working on a new one for Taste and Tidbits. And then Night of Lights, we have now shifted, and instead of one night, we're going to do a full month of all different types of shop local activities. So please be on the lookout for that information as it comes out. And with that, I want to thank again everybody for everything that they've done to help make this year as good as it can be. And the Chamber is here to support our businesses and everybody in our community. Thank you.
Carmen, we can't hear you very well.
Oh. Let me try this. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. There we go. So thank you for this opportunity. My name is Carmen. I'm a senior librarian with the San Mateo County Libraries, and I'm going to share my screen to start my presentation. There we go. So thank you again so much for this opportunity. This evening's theme is a year of adaptation, and I'm really proud to share the ways San Mateo County Libraries have done just that. When shelter in place went into effect, staff quickly adapted their technological skills, creativity, and service ethic to provide dynamic, high-quality virtual services to our communities. We develop new services in order to address the digital divide and to foster exploration and discovery. Curbside pickup debuted in early June. This safe, contactless service is now available by appointment at all 12 of our community libraries, Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Since its launch, we have served over 70,000 appointments, with more than 7,000 of those in Half Moon Bay. We have since unveiled print on demand, walk-up services, checkout of sewing machines, 3D printing, and grab-and-go book bundles at all of our locations. Come to our libraries without an appointment to pick up books, apply for a new library card, and much more, all from a safe distance. To fill nutritional gaps in our community, we implemented curbside meal service in September through our partnership with the YMCA, and we have served over 1,200 meals. We will continue to adapt, change, and innovate. This is a photo of the Boys and Girls Club Acuña, able to successfully open due to our partnership, and we continue to provide them hotspots to support their participants. In partnership with ALAS, CUSD, Moonridge, and Abundant Grace, and with support from the Half Moon Bay Friends of the Library, San Mateo County Libraries have distributed over 250 hotspots and 7 laptop hotspot combos to our Half Moon Bay communities of need. Our community libraries continue to build relationships and deliver support to schools and families to see youth succeed in distance learning. Our staff have innovated ways of reaching students through virtual library tours, district library card drives, and more. Wesley, one of our young library users, drew us this I Spy book. He said we remind him of the librarians from Waiting for the Biblioburro, a lovely story about a librarian delivering books to needy rural communities. Half Moon Bay Library continues to be an important community resource during challenging times. Last month, we welcomed the Stanford Flu Crew to avoid the twindemic and safely offered free outdoor flu shots to more than 230 community members. Our community room served as the location for PG&E's Community Resource Center during the latest public safety power shutoffs to provide information, device charging, Wi-Fi connectivity, snacks, and water for affected residents. A few programs we're excited to have adapted for today's environment are Bilingual Life Story Time with Kelly and Kenny, which will be tomorrow, Citizenship Learning Circles, which takes place Mondays through December, Interview Job Prep with Job Train, which will be bilingual on November 18th, and a few Spanish-speaking programs, La Salud Mental 101, November 18th, and El Autocuidar, December 16th. We miss all of you and are looking forward to the new and exciting ways we will continue supporting you over the coming weeks and months. Thank you.
Mayor Eisen?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, very good, very good. Was having a little trouble there for a second. All right, well, thank you, Crystalline and Carmen. We're thrilled to have the Chamber of Commerce and the Half Moon Bay Library as part of this event again to present the State of the City address as we continue to collaborate and partner with each other as one community and one coast side. While 2020 wasn't all we had hoped for, there are many highlights as you saw tonight. Also, there was one I didn't mention really quick, and I'm going to throw it out there. But somebody had reminded me that Joe Cotchett has offered $200,000 and a $100,000 match to replace lost funds from the traditional annual Pumpkin Festival for all our local nonprofits. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and then also let people know that if you're willing to contribute, will help replace some of those funds since we didn't have the Pumpkin Festival this year. And let me go back in here. The way this community pivoted and came together time and time again is something worth celebrating. We are now hopeful and looking ahead to 2021 for what I am certain will be another positive year of improvement and partnership on the coast side. It has been my pleasure to be with you all tonight. Thank you and have a great night. Great job, everybody.